Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is Lorianne Reeves, and we are in day 3 of business problems, camouflage, a lot of personal issues. And the reason I decided to do this topic was because of the work I do. Yes, I help my clients build their business, all of the transactional, logistical, back of the room pieces, back of the business pieces. But at the same time, there is a huge transformational component that happens for them individually. If they're a one-on-one client or within the community with whatever mastermind or group they're in with me, because that the two together gets you where you want to go. And there are so many times when folks don't realize that what they're struggling with in their business is actual or personal issue for them. And sometimes when they're looking at a personal issue, it's actually just a logistical piece, a tactic, a technique that we just have to tweak or actually bring into the business. And it's just something you do all at once. You don't take care of one thing and then do the other. I hear that all the time. Well, let me build my business to 100,000, 500,000. I want to get to 1 million, whatever the major goal is. And then I'll come back and do the transformational work. Well, no, you're going to work really hard and you're only going to get so far. And that's just what happens. I am Lorianne Reeves. I am your host today. I decided a few months ago I would do these monthly training series because it gives me an opportunity also to be able to go a little bit more in depth with my audience. And those of you that need to know more before you make a decision and what your next step is in your business or for yourself. And so those of you that don't know me, I don't usually like to talk a lot about myself. And I say this out loud to remind myself to introduce at least the highlights. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. I've been in this phase of my business for the last 8. I have served over 10,000 clients in my time as an entrepreneur. I have a background not only in coaching, but in consulting and strategy. And I also am certified into some high-level ways of working the transformational piece that allows you to go quicker and deeper without wasting a lot of time and money. So when clients come to me, they know they get both, because not only do I have sales experience, I was a sales manager for 8 years, but I also went back to school and got a psychotherapy degree and actually had a private practice that turned into consulting. And then I've gone on to do this online business in the strategy consulting coaching space. And so welcome. Now that you know a little bit about me, I really want folks not just to have success short term, but to have success long term, to get those quick wins, but at the same time to sustain the change that they need to change within themselves and their business. So those new ways of working actually makes your business profitable and sustainable, because we see a lot of quick wins at all different income levels. All of a sudden, someone is so popular on social media and it feels like they came out of left field. But it's actually 10, 15 years in the making sometimes. And then there are the quick influencers that come in, but they don't have this, they have tons of followers, but they don't have the sustainable way to work with their followers or have clients, or maybe they just sell products. So, but if you are in the service business and you have a product that does some form of transformation, whether that's internal or external, then you are serving someone on a personal level besides the business level. And so it's important to know how business problems, not only for yourself, camouflage personal issues, but when you see them in your clients, and if you're not capable or you don't have the skill to help them with what comes up, you can make a decent referral, or you can point them in the right direction, even sometimes if it's just a book to read. So I'm going to go over a little bit what we talked about on Monday and Tuesday in general. I have hired 7-figure plus entrepreneurs. I've been in their coaching programs. I've had them one-on-one as coaches, and a lot of us have done that. We're always impressed with the hard work and what they've done over the years, and how they've got there, how they sustained it, and how they tell us we can do it too if we follow their formula. And I want to tell you that everyone needs help. It's hard to build a business alone. And so I'm a big proponent of getting the right kind of help, not only from advice, but to having a small team, even if it's 10 hours a month, to being able to sustain this business now that seems even more overwhelming in the last 2 years, because everything is more online than it's ever been. We are going back to some in-person events. And so those of you that built your business speaking in person, some of that definitely has come back. But it's just a new way of working, and business also is moving faster than it ever has before. And it may be just that it feels faster because of how we felt, where, some people are worn out by all that's been going on in the outside world. And for you to be able to sustain yourself on the inside so you can ignore the things on the outside that are important for you to ignore, but acknowledge the ones that you need to acknowledge. It is not an either or game here, being an entrepreneur. It is and also, and you have to do both things. You have to do 3 things. You have to do a lot of things. And so what I said on Monday was, those of you that are just starting out or having gotten to $50,000 a year, there are several things that you need to do. You need to pay attention to definitely having conversations with people online or Zoom, and getting people to know you. You need to have one offer. You need to pay attention to having conversations and bringing people to work with you. You need some visibility online, and you don't need a book. You don't need all the other fluff. You need presence. You need the ability for people to see who you are and to bring them to you in some way, whether that's text messaging, comments in your social media presence, being a guest on a podcast, having your own, even doing like a monthly training series, so you can have a platform for people to see you. Those are the most important things: generating income, being seen, and having the right message. And, a lot of times the message gets hard for folks, but that's what you need to really concentrate on. Those of you that are going towards $100,000 and beyond, it takes a little bit more. Now you need at least start thinking about a team, having more presence out there, but being strategic, not being everywhere, because everywhere is where everyone is, but everywhere where you strategically want to be, because that's where your clients are. At the beginning, we kind of take anybody, we get to that mid 5 figures, and we really need to fine tune who our right fit clients are, what are the right fit offers that match them, and where are all those folks hanging out, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, someplace else, networking, wherever it is, that you are there also. And that people have an opportunity to see your genius, to see how you are able to help folks so they can either hire you or refer you. After that, it's more about building a platform. And to get to 7 figures, it really is about what I talked about on Tuesday. It is about changing who you are, not your essence, but who do you need to be a 7-figure entrepreneur or $500,000 entrepreneur? Who is that person? Because this person starting out, this person that's just barely getting to 6 figures, can't build a 7-figure business with the thoughts, feelings, and actions they're doing now. That has to change. So one of the things I went over is a framework for change. And framework for change is basically really simple. It's not complicated. It's just hard to do because we're human beings. We don't like change. We never do. And it's really our body that doesn't like to change at all. So the key here is that your thoughts, your feelings and your actions all match. So the example I gave yesterday was when I talk to someone, I can teach them how to have a sales conversation. I can teach them a lot of the back of the logistics business, how to answer questions, how to have people come to a conversation. I can do all that. One of the things that's the most difficult thing to get my clients to do and any audience to do is to build a pipeline of people that they're nurturing, that they're building relationships with. So when they need more clients, they have people to go back and talk to. It's the one thing that will sustain your business. And yet so many people refuse to do it, even though they know intellectually that it is the right thing to do. And so what we have to figure out is, even so, the thought is correct when I'm asking you to do that, but you have feelings around that. And the feelings can be anywhere from, I don't want to do it. I'm afraid to bother. It seems like a lot of work. I can't count on myself. I don't trust myself. And I'm constantly not knowing what to do. Those are all feelings. And so, yes, I know to do it, but yet all my feelings say no, resist. No, 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 no. So now you've got thoughts that are correct. You've got thoughts that are correct, but feelings that are not correct. So now your actions don't play out. And that is the key to change, is that when you know the thought is right, the feeling is not appropriate for that thought, now you can't even do the action. So what happens? Feelings have to change. So the work becomes around feelings. And it's not as easy as saying, okay, I'm just going to change that feeling. There needs to be an exploration around where that feeling comes from. And sometimes it's an erroneous feeling. It's tied to something else, but you've transferred it to this one strategy. And so for you to change, you have to make a decision to change. And that's what 7-figure entrepreneurs plus do. They make that decision. And then the other thing they do is they think differently about money. And so what I talked about on Tuesday is make that decision. That the decision you have to make is, even though right now you are a $50,000 to $100,000 business a year, the change you're making is that you want to be a 7-figure entrepreneur a year. So that's the example we're going to play with. You can put any number in. It's just that you want to get someplace else, and it's not where you are right now. So once you make the change, you want to make that decision to change. Now you got to figure out how we're going to make thoughts, feelings, and actions the same, right? And so it's more than just mindset. It's more than just mantras. It's more than even psychology. It has to take in everything, including neuroscience and how your brain works. And that is the key. And to do it earlier, you've got to do it quicker. You have to bypass the body in some way, because our brain has the thinking function and our body holds our feelings. And then those two, again, together give us our actions. And it turns out to be our personality, who we are, what we want to do, who we want to be. So who do you want to be? And then every day, ask that person. When you get up in the morning, the first question you should ask yourself, whether you journal or not, you don't have to make a big production out of this. As a 7-figure entrepreneur, what would they be doing today? What would they be doing today? What are the 3 things I can do that shows my thoughts, shows my feelings, and my actions are appropriate, that I am a 7-figure entrepreneur? What are the 3 things I will do today to ensure that? And then at the end of the day is to do a 5-minute review. Where did I do that? Where did I really anchor that 7-figure entrepreneur in the things I did today? And then where did I not? And how can I do that different next time? I promise you, if you do some version of that every single day, you take it seriously, you embody it, you start changing your actions, you will start changing the struggles you have in your business. And that's what 7-figure entrepreneurs figured out. I have been on podcast panels, question and answer panels. And when they ask folks that are 7 figures and above, what's the number one thing that they did? And they said, I changed how I thought about being an entrepreneur. Every single one of them. I haven't had anyone, haven't read about anyone, know anyone, been on a speaking panel with anyone that said it was a strategy or a technique, ever, 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 ever. And so that's how you start. And that's what we talked about on Tuesday. And so what we're going to talk about today is really, who do you want to be? Decide that right now. Know what you have to do. I've already told you how you have to start. It's what I have all my clients do, some version of it, depending how much they're connected with me. If they're in a program and they see me in a group, the exercises are different than on a one-on-one client. We definitely do more in-depth work that gets all of this out for them quickly so they can start practicing out there. So decide on who you want to be. Rethink how you think about money. That was the other thing I talked about. They rethought how they thought about money. Oh gosh, I mean, I could, write 20 books about money because money is loaded. And here's a great example. When I was a psychotherapist and I had my own practice, what I thought when I worked with couples, about 50% of my practice was working with couples and men. And so if you ask the question or anything around money, so tell me how you handle your money, there's always this long pause. And I thought it was just in the therapy room. And what people do, they start overthinking their money instead of just being honest with themselves. And I make a joke all the time in my training around money transformation is really everyone lies about money, and it's not intentional, and it's not about me being mean. It's just that they're not where they want to be. So they start finding palatable excuses, and it doesn't have to be that way. If you're honest with yourself about money, then you can actually apply the same principles I just talked about around change around money. And we add some other things in our programs, but the money is loaded for folks. So then when I got into the coaching space, I didn't really even know that much about the coaching space. I mean, I had read about it, but I didn't know it was this huge industry until I went to my first event, and there were like 800 people there for 3 days. And I couldn't believe what I heard and how people were thinking about money. I thought it was just, like I said, in the therapy room, but entrepreneurs are actually worse than couples. Entrepreneurs will go, well, I may have this come in, I may have that. Well, what is your average monthly income? Well, last month I got $2,000. It's just this gyration. It's a psychological gyration that we see no matter what industry we're in when it comes to money. Just like in corporate America, money's a secret. You can't tell anybody what your payment, what you get, your income, what your salary is, because you're not supposed to tell. And because it's a secret. Well, why does money have to be a secret? Some families even have that. Can't talk about money. No, we never discussed money. Well, why don't you talk about money when money is one of the most important things for you to be able to pay your mortgage, get food, support your children. And so it's not that money is everything, but money touches everything in your business. And so if you're an entrepreneur, that is one thing you got to get over also is the money thing. But here's what 7-figure entrepreneurs, how they rethink about money. They say to themselves, if I'm going to invest in this next coach or this next big thing I need to bring into my business, or a full-time employee with benefits, whatever it is, because when you get at that point, the questions of what you have to do next, they're bigger and they have more impact. You got to get things done because you can't do everything, and you need team members, or you need lots more automation. You may need an operations manager. It doesn't matter what it is. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I don't know if I have enough money for that, this is what they say. Okay, I have got to invest $10,000 a month for this next thing. I want 2 to 5 times the return on my investment for my $10,000. You say, great, right? You're thinking great. But then the next question becomes, what do I have to do and trust about myself to get done so we can do that? And that's the piece that really falls apart on a lot of entrepreneurs, no matter what level they're at, is that they don't trust themselves to do the work. And you have got to trust yourself to do the right work with the right framework around how it needs to be. Because what you're doing at when you first start out is very different at the 7 figures, and you need to know that. So they make a choice to be who they really need to be as the CEO of that 7-figure business. They rethink how they think about money on all levels, not just their investment, but how they bring money in, how they think about sales, how they think about every team member, how it all impacts everything. And then the third thing they do differently than a lot of early entrepreneurs don't is they take full responsibility, even when something goes bad. It doesn't mean that they're saying to themselves that the thing that happened, because it was an external, the pandemic, none of us predicted that. None of us predicted that. How would we have known? That is a great example. But instead of going, oh my God, the pandemic, I'm losing my business, especially those folks that did live events to generate income, they had to go virtually, but they didn't know how that was going to be. And they didn't reinvent, they rethought about what needed to happen so they could continue to have their business. And those of them that kept working at it, all of them, almost every single one of them added 20 to 50% more in business in the last 2 years. And the reason I know is some of them have hired me during this time to help them on their sales team, to consult with them about how the psychology is different when you're virtual versus in person. And those of you that networked a lot, it's kind of the same thing. When you're networking in person, it's a lot easier to judge folks' reactions to you, facial expressions, those micro expressions that are so necessary as you're reading the situation because people are giving you conscious information with their words, but they're also giving you unconscious information with how they respond, the words, their energy, their lack of energy. It's the same thing. And on the computer, when you're in a Zoom room, you've got the computer screen blunting that. And yes, we did it. We can still do it, and it works, and it still works at a great level. And it still can make you great money, but it is even still to this day a little different when you're in person. And so I am an advocate for both, not in terms of hybrid, but in terms of doing virtual really well when it works for that strategy, and then when to do live events moving forward. So just for you to know that. So they take full responsibility. And that is something that I have to tell you is so hard for the average human being. We're so conditioned. Our body is so conditioned to not changing anything. And it's why people get stressed. And the more stress you have, I had a client yesterday, the more stressed you are, you've got so much brain fog. It's hard for you to actually think through what the best next step is. And so, we want you to be able to, when business problems do show up, number one, they don't tap into any personal issue you may have. Or if it does, you see it right away and you regroup so it doesn't affect you. Here's the thing about change and about when you want to do things differently. Like I said, we're such creatures of habit. We don't like any change. It's why 80% of entrepreneurs struggle, because they're not doing the things they really need to do. The statistics support it, and we see it every single day. And I can tell someone until I'm blue in the face to do this just next step and to do it 3 times a week, and they come back the following week and they still don't do it. because it's the personal veil that is blocking them. So taking responsibility for that, and to say to yourself, okay, I am really stressed. What needs to happen for me to lower my stress level so I can make a good decision? We are not in control of the outside world. We cannot control a lot of things in our lives, our clients, the world events, pandemics. But we have so much more control of our internal self than we do on the external. And the problem becomes we try so hard to change the outside world first, instead of changing your inside world. If you would do both at the same time, your path would be a lot easier. So building your business from the inside out and to get to match, which allows you to be less stressed, and you have bigger capacity in your brain to be able to see this right strategy instead of going with any strategy, because that's what you're seeing on social media, or that's what your colleague is doing, or that's what that next coach you're thinking of hiring is doing. When you do that, you get to lower your stress, and you get to see what's right for you. What's right for you is not right for everybody else. And it depends on your business. It depends on who you are, where you want to go. And taking full responsibility helps you cut down the amount of money you waste and time you waste. So just there's so much more to that, but I just really wanted to take a few minutes to talk about that, is taking personal responsibility and doing what you can, no matter what's going on the outside. Some things are tragic. I understand that. I can get all kinds of examples, but you get to monitor your insides and try to approach everything at the least stressed you can be. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So besides taking full responsibility, one of the other things that seven-figure entrepreneurs really, really hone is they develop their POV, their point of view. And a point of view is really something that is your take basically on the world. It is not just about your business. It should be something, your point of view should be something, no matter what it is, you can apply it to any problem. So let me give you an example. One of my first mentors, her point of view all the time was, money is easy to make. You're just making it complicated. So if you were talking to an entrepreneur, you could see that. If you're talking to a single mom with a tight budget, which is a stressful situation, then what? You could even apply it there in what she could possibly do. What she could do maybe is just micro, but that micro after a while really adds up. So even in the corporate space, money is easy to make. You're the one who's complicating. A company is struggling to make money, and they've got all these rules and ways of being that no longer work, but yet they can't think outside of the box, because all of the standard operating procedures are based on an old mentality or old way of working that doesn't work anymore. And they need to keep the good from that, and they need to be shifting. And that's how they make it complicated when it's really easy. So my point is, your point of view is something that is universal. Another example could be, my point of view doesn't matter who or what knocks you down. It's your responsibility to get back up, no matter what it is, because it doesn't mean you may have the success you thought before, but you'll have some version of the success that you never thought could have happened once that happened. How many of us have gone through divorces, parents passing away, tragedies, people that have gone through trauma? I mean, it is those folks that look at it and say to themselves, what is my personal responsibility to get past it? And what can I do about it? I can't change the other people in my life. I can't do a lot of things, but I can look at this situation differently. I have a different feeling about it. Does not mean that you negate what that person or that thing did to you. That's not about saying, oh, I forgive just about everybody, no matter what they do to me. It is not about that. It is about looking at the situation, still feeling horrible about it, but at the same time, what's the next step to do? So the point of view is, folks, they hone it down, they know what it is, and then it's everywhere in their business, everywhere in their business. Again, my early mentor, Money's Easy to Make, and she loves new entrepreneurs. That's her whole business is around that. And that point of view is throughout all her programs, how to make money easy, even if you've got zero right now. So that a point of view is really takes a while to develop. Do some reading about it. There's a lot of reading about it where a lot of speakers have a point of view that they teach that. This is not my, I didn't create this, but it comes from the speaker world, is having a point of view. So no matter what the topic is, you're always weaving in your point of view when you're speaking. But good entrepreneurs, great entrepreneurs know that they have a point of view, and it's everywhere interwoven into their business. It's really, really important to have. So the last one I want to talk about today is one that's hard for a lot of people, and that's where to be visible. It was one of mine too, a long time ago, like where to be visible and not really caring about it. And prior to the pandemic, I developed ways to get business that were more in person. And even though I had an online business, I delivered online all the time. But, I didn't care whether I was on Facebook or not. And I mean, people say to me, where are you? But I said, oh, come hear me speak. And so that was an easy cop out. And so in the last 4 or 5 years, I've had to change that because I wanted a bigger business. I wanted to reach more people. I wanted to serve more people because I know in terms of being able to do the transactional pieces and the transformational pieces that it really is what helps my clients grow so fast, personally and professionally. And so I had to really rethink this and learn how to be visible out there. But what I didn't want to do is just to throw stuff up on social media and hope it sticks. That's a poor strategy for all of us. So the first thing I'll tell you that 7-figure entrepreneurs do is they create content. I don't want you to think that that's all you have to do is make content, but you have to have some platform, some fundamental pieces of your content so you can show people out there, whether you're speaking on a podcast, you're doing a virtual speech, you're networking virtually, you are networking now maybe in person. People have to know what you have to offer, not just your offering, but what is the content, what are the fundamentals of how you work, and what are the return on investments for them, what are the results they can get for you. That's the other thing 7-figure entrepreneurs are able to do, and they do it well, is they articulate well to their right fit clients. They know who their audience is. They have that offer that matches them, and when they're out there being visible in all different ways, that's what they're talking about, is how to get results from what they do. People want to know, before we could just, this is what I'm going to do for you, and this is how much it is. That's the transactional piece. And people bought. If they felt they needed that, they bought. What's changed in business, and we started seeing this way before the pandemic, was then people wanted results. If I'm going to pay you a lot of money, what are the results I can get? And of course, you've got to do the work, but the person that is selling you this program also has to do the work and being able to get that out, help you get those results. So now clients, not only do they want the results, they want the transformation that goes with the results so they can be sustainable and profitable with what you are selling to them, and that it is part of their overall vision. It is part of their strategy, and that they know, because they understand you get results, that you can demonstrate that. Now, I have had plenty of clients that have hired me, rarely came to anything, any of the meetings. If it was a group program, I've had one-on-one clients show up maybe once every 6 weeks. I mean, I am not going to force anyone to come, but your results are not going to be as good if you don't participate fully. So what I mean by that, because a lot of people say, what's your guarantee? Well, my guarantee is, because I know my guarantee is, if you do this work in this program and you participate, I know this can happen for you. If you take full responsibility and do your part, I will take full responsibility, do my part. I will always take full responsibility, knowing I can help you and get results. And so that's where you need to be. Also, it's a must-have now. It's not a nice to have anymore. It is a must-have. You must be transactional and get results, but at the same time, you must be transformational for your people. People need more now. We see it all the time across the internet. People need absolutely more from us, and we have to rise to the challenge. And those of you that are in the right fit business, it's going to be easy for you to rise. And if you're not sure what that is, then I suggest you, contact me and we can have a conversation about that, because I do think it's really important that you understand not only what you deliver gets results, but what are the transformational pieces. And even those of you that sell products, there is still something there that you have to think about that's more than just what your product delivers. Not all products, it would just it really needs to be the right kind of product to think about what is a transformational piece. I mean, if you think about folks that are selling anti-aging products, I'll just say that because I had a conversation with someone about anti-aging products. And so it's not just getting rid of the wrinkles. What is the transformation inside when a woman sees that her face is looking better? Most women don't want to look 50 years younger, but they want to not see the outside looking good, but they want to feel good on the inside. The inside is the transformational piece that gives the sustainability, because that's where we're driven, from the inside, for transformation. And so if you've got the feelings, remember what I said at the beginning, you've got the feelings and the thoughts, then your actions change. If they all fit together, then most things will happen well for you, and they will go quicker. But if you're fighting your feelings and you're fighting your thoughts all the time around your business, it's just going to get harder to do. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Listen, I built 3 businesses in the time I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. One business I've always had while I did my main business. I had a design business in terms of, I loved creating garments, and I did textile design. I still do it now, but I went back as a hobby. But I sold that business, but I did some type of design, creative. I love making things with my hands. Always had it. When I had my therapy business and then my consulting business. And so I happened to sell both of them within 6 months of each other. And actually so even a design or someone that is selling something that's beautiful, they have a feeling around that. Oh, I love it. So there's the piece itself, that's the transactional piece. And then it's the feeling that goes with it. Same thing in therapy. When most people come in, here's the thing, when I practiced as a therapist for around 15 years, well, tell me what you want. Within a few minutes, some version of that question came up. I just want to be happy. For entrepreneurs, they want to be happy too. They want to be happy around that their business is going well. Not everyone wants to be 7 figures, but they don't want to struggle every month with their money. They want money freedom in terms of they're getting the value that they put into their business, and they want time freedom. Most of my clients want money freedom and time freedom. They don't want to work so hard anymore. And what I know, what I forgot, what I was going to say is I have built a business working really hard, just on hard work, and I got to $100,000. I didn't think about all these other things because in that moment I had gotten divorced and I needed money. So I just worked my butt off and I got there. But I couldn't sustain it because I worked so hard, and I physically I couldn't keep it going just on hard work, and I didn't want to. So it's not just about working smarter; is working for me from the inside out. What would sustain that? What would sustain that first 100,000, that second 100,000, that next 100,000, that 300, that $400,000? Sustain it, and me not working. 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. Sometimes at the beginning you have to. I'm not saying hard work is not necessary. It is. I mean, I still work hard. I work hard, not 7 days a week. That's the difference. And so that's what I had to ask myself. And that's what you have to ask yourself. And that's what 7-figure entrepreneurs ask themselves. I learned a lot from seeing 7-figure entrepreneurs in the back of their business, especially around the sales of folks and how they do it, what they need, how they can do it without, working 24/7. And, but, you still have to work hard in places for a sustained period of time, then you can back off a little bit. So hard work doesn't go away, it just looks a little different. And it's not but it's not the only thing that carries you. Your team carries you, the way you think of your business carries you. All of those things are important. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, day 4. We will see you Thursday, tomorrow at noon, 12 noon, and we will take the next step in terms of how does this fit into your personal leadership and some other things that 7-figure entrepreneurs do that is more personal change inside that got them to where they wanted to be. Have a wonderful day now. Bye-bye.